Hello everyone, my name is Dotted and welcome to Satisfactory. We end up finishing phase 3 in this episode, and to be honest, we have about like 60 hours of gameplay here. We did a lot of messing around. We had to solve a bunch of problems along the way. They were really annoying, but we fixed them. But anyways, before we start, this is the old factory. It was nice and all, but it's using all the materials I need. Luckily, I'm joined by my friend Spring today. This is nice because I needed free labor, but throughout the video I teach her, and she helps me. It's so helpful. It's nice. She's very nice. Anyways, I finally had a worker I didn't have to pay, so I decided we needed to delete the whole factory. I needed everything gone for space to build. Although, every material I got, I decided to throw into a container. I didn't want to waste anything, and we needed the materials to build, to be honest. And finally, after deleting everything, we had a clean slate. We could build, no space requirements, nothing. We could just do whatever we want. First thing we did was build a huge parking lot with the space. We needed room for the machines, and also room for the train that I need to put on top of this. It's gonna be nice. My only requirement for this big slab was that it slabbed. It held the machines up. That's all it needed to do. It did that. Our first problem was we didn't have the materials anywhere near where we needed them. We needed to go grab iron and coal from 2 different spots on the map and bring them here. Now, at the time, I'd never used trains before this. This is my first playthrough, so I didn't have any blueprints, nothing, no knowledge on how they even work. But after playing for a while, I find that they're actually pretty easy to learn. You shouldn't be dissuaded from them, for sure. In fact, the trains are almost stupid simple. Stupid simple. You just had to put down a station, and then a freight station, and then pump conveyors into it, and then it sends it over to where you need. The only regret that I've had during building this train was I made the rails monorail. No extra rail to support multiple trains. I wish I did that. Also, take a look at this. It scratches my brain. I love watching these trains load and unload. I've always loved trains. I quickly put down another terminal though, because the first one, I didn't have the conveyors to feed it fast enough. Anywho, after I was done setting up the train, like the entire track and everything, all I had to do was put down the machines and feed the machines with the train. The hardest part was just getting the ore over to the base. The machines are really easy to set up. Although, something that would be hard to do is I needed to automate Spring. She hadn't really learned the game yet, and she's been just watching, so I needed to help her. So, my idea of helping was I make her do the entirety of Versatile Frameworks by herself, as long as I just tell her what to do. She pretty much put down every building for the entire first part of this. This part of the factory right here was pretty simple. It was just rods and screws to feed into reinforced plating later, I think. I don't quite remember what recording. Anywho, we also had to expand the platform. It was too narrow. We needed more space. After that, all I had to do was work on the steel foundries. We needed this later for a recipe to make to make the versatile frameworks. We still had a lot to automate though. This was for later on. We even had to stack the steel foundries and a few other machines on top of each other. We were running out of space in a linear line, so we had to go vertical, which we should have done more often. Then we just kind of took a quick breather to sit back and look at our progress. It's so nice in this game to just sit there and watch the conveyor belts run. Also, we still only got about half the factory done. We really needed to finish it, and we were excited to. Break's over! Now we're on reinforced plating. This is, we're getting close to finishing the versatile frameworks. All we had to do was feed these screws and plates, and then we could go on to the next part, which I think is just putting the versatile frameworks together. Psych, I lied. I forgot about the modular frames. Though, it's also really easy. I believe it's just rods and reinforced plates. After that, we just take the modular frames and the reinforced plates and put them together. Wait, no, not the reinforced plates. The steel beams, I think. Yeah. Now all we had to do was just wait it out until it was finally done. I believe with how many we were making a minute, it would take about an hour. So me and Spring just kind of waited that out until it was finally done. While we were waiting, Spring actually found Sam on top of a tall hill. Sam is super cool because it gives you the material to make dimensional depots, which lets you access items anywhere from any time. So like crafting, it'll let you draw from the depot. If you need to build, it'll draw from the depot. It's just super useful. We actually went ahead and upgraded it a little bit, the upload speed, so that way we can upload more stuff to it quicker. That way we wouldn't have to worry about the dimensional depots running out of items. I gotta say, going back and looking at your factory after you make it is just the most satisfying thing ever. Seeing this, just all the parts running together, it's perfect. This is what makes me like this game so much. And when everything seemed perfect, the fuse blew. That is possibly the most scariest sound you can hear in this game. I looked at one of my power poles and it looked like our production dipped down right into the consumption, which is really unfortunate. I had to go upgrade our power supply now. Once I got over there, I looked inside. All of them had coal. The main problem was probably just the water. The way I set it up, it just wasn't getting enough to each one, so sometimes they go idle. Either way, I figured a nice double of the coal power plant would do us some good. You know, it'd give us like twice the amount of power. At least I thought so. Because for some reason, the entire time I've had these coal plants, the water was never enough. No matter how many pumps I added, it wouldn't fill them all up. I don't know if I did something wrong here, but it just doesn't. After noticing I did that wrong, I just figured I may as well go do milestones for a while. First thing I unlocked was Blueprints Mark II, which would let me build stuff for the future, just with more space. I had also unlocked Fluid Packaging. This is out of order because I forgot to record it at the time, so I had to re-record. Industrial Manufacturing, which is pretty much the assemblers but with 4 inputs. And Railway Signaling, so that way eventually I can have multiple trains on one track without them, you know, blowing up. Anyways, it's time to start the next part of Phase 3. The modular engines, that's what they're called. That's the word. We use blueprints throughout this, so we can put down constructors in like little segments and then just connect them together. It saved so much time, so much. I should have used these sooner, to be honest. So much time, in fact, that I forgot to record quite a bit of us making it. So I'm sorry about that, but you didn't miss much. We just made another row of constructors, some foundries over there, and just for a quick explanation, this factory is mostly just for motors and smart plating. We're making rubber somewhere else and bringing it over here, and then we combine all that just to make a modular engine. Also, to deal with the recent coal problem, I switched over to gas power. It is just so much better. It's so much easier. Like, refining fuel to just burn to a gas power generator takes half the amount of effort it does to set up a coal power plant. It's worth it. After that, we went home and just assembled the manufacturers. Then we just had to wait out for the engines to be done. To be clear, we're already over halfway done with Phase 3, and it hasn't really taken much time. Blueprints really sped this up so much. Also, off topic, look at what my friend made. It's the alien power augmenter. It takes whatever amount of power we're making, it does 10% of that and adds it to the power. So 10% of whatever we're making gets added. Alright, on to Phase 3. Oh no, not Phase 3, the next part of Phase 3. The adaptive control units. We needed to make plastic for it, which is the only material we were missing, so I threw a big platform above my gas power plant and just put it there. All I had to do was set them to make plastic. There was a byproduct of residue, which we turned into fuel and just sent it downstairs to be burned in the gas generators. Once I got home, I started using the blueprints to go ahead and set up the first part of it. We needed a shitload of screws, so much in fact that it took up most of the platform. I tried to do something smart with these blueprints by adding a roof on top of them, so that way we could stack them as high as we needed to, which turned out useful near the end, because we actually made this a 3-story factory. The screws were going to go to 2 different materials, reinforced iron plating and heavy modular frames. And with the way I had the factory set up, all I had to do was put conveyor belts in, set the settings up, and then just turn it on. Also, I haven't really mentioned it yet, but I turned a setting on called lumen lighting. It makes the lighting so much more realistic in this game, so if you notice any cool differences in the lighting, that's what's happened. I also plan on using these lights everywhere throughout my builds because I love the way that the lights light up the buildings. I want to make sure everything is walkable and well lit. Speaking of those lights, my friend Spring, while she was missing this whole time, went and automated the crystal oscillators, which are used for the big billboard LED lights. This was her first factory that I hadn't really supervised. My main rule was just to chop down no trees, and she did that perfectly. So she automated crystal oscillators, so we can now build as many LED lights as we want to, no limitations. So far, the factory was coming along nicely. We were almost done. Mainly the last thing we needed to do was just put down the manufacturers on top. We were just right now connecting most of the stuff together, making sure materials are going into it, and getting it running. And just like that, we had pretty much finished phase 3. We just had to let the machines run out until they were done. I actually put summer sloops inside these ones just to even make it go faster. Summer sloops, if you put them inside machines, duplicates items and gives you a better output. It does cost power though, but the same amount of materials to make it. I do want to say big thanks to Spring. If you want to look her up, her username is SpringFoxy99 on all platforms. She was a huge help, great friend of mine, and we're going to be working together from now on. At least I hope so. It's her choice if she wants to play. Anyways, you've pretty much reached the end of the video. All I had to say is thank you for watching. If you did get here, not many people do since I'm a small starter YouTuber. I would like to get into this for fun. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and comment anything you'd like to see different about my YouTube channel. Please go look at Spring if you'd like. She's very nice, very cool person. And I'm gonna just go over what we'll do in the next episode. My plan is we do most of the milestones before we even start looking at phase 4. We need all the milestones. Specifically, I want to finish the one that gives us the blender, because then we can make a rocket fuel factory and start using the trucks that I promised I was going to use. I like trains and all, but trucks just seem awesome. I want traffic, like I said in an episode ago. Other than that, y'all have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next episode.